Lessons by the Lake. Today I want to talk to you about how I teach inferencing. So, have you ever solved a mystery before? Not a crime, a mystery, like what your spouse wants to have for dinner, how your friend really feels about that gift you gave them, or maybe what your dog is whining for. We solve these mysteries by inferencing all day, every day. We're always figuring these things out. So we need to get students to realize that they're probably already inferencing, and how can they intentionally inference while they're reading. So we want them connecting what they already know with what they're reading to help them understand more. So what are some things we can infer? We can infer feelings, thoughts, intentions, actions, decisions, representations of objects, mood, setting, problem, theme, characters' dreams, and motivations. While we're reading, there are so many things that we can infer. Just like in our everyday life, there are many things that we're already inferring to help understand and navigate the world around us. So how I like to teach inferencing is I like to start with pictures and relatable situations. So these are some picture task cards that I have. I'll put a link to my store in the description. And I love just starting with getting kids talking about pictures. It helps eliminate that barrier of them decoding the text, and they're all able to just look at them and understand things. They each can bring a different type of background knowledge. It's going to lead to different inferences, and it's just so interesting to hear what they think about these different pictures, and it's just a lot of fun and a great way to get started in a non-threatening way with teaching them how to inference. So we see what they notice, what they can tell. Like, I can tell it's Christmas time because he's dressed as an elf and he's wearing green and red. So those just little things, what they can tell about each picture. So a relatable situation that I like to do with my students to help practice inferencing is interpreting emojis in text messages. This is something that they do constantly, that they're not even realizing that they're inferencing. So I have little conversations that I show them, and these are going to be free downloads in the description. I'll put the link for you. So it says, this weekend we are going on a boat ride. And this is what the person answers. So we talk about, what does that mean? What does that emoji represent? How are they feeling? And then, don't worry, I'll keep you safe. And what does this emoji mean? So it's funny to see how they interpret them and what their explanation is, because these types of inferences are something that we tend to do naturally and not even so consciously think about, but it's a really good experience for students to bring that thinking to the surface and use those think alouds to help them understand that they're already making inferences when they do this. So here's another one. What do you want pizza for dinner? And they reply with the heart eyes. So what does that mean? How can you tell? What do you know about when you're about hearts and love that is going to give you that answer? And then they're asking if they want mushrooms on the pizza, and they have the barf face. So what does that mean? How is that answer? So I have this in this form if you'd like to talk to your students about it, and this form for you if you'd like to give it to your students as an activity to do. So this is just a fun, free way to get your students thinking about inferences in a concrete way outside of using it in a text. I'm very big on using concrete introductions when I teach my students reading strategies. I always start with a little 2 to 3 minute activity, just something very simple like using these emojis, just to get them thinking about it and get them engaged and really hooked in the lesson. And it also sets that expectation for them that, oh, this is something I'm going to use outside of school. This is really important. I need to pay attention. And they're interested and they want to learn more about it. So then I kind of continue with the idea of teaching things in a concrete way once I go into using mentor texts and using these strategies with books. So what I do is I use Comprehension Crew. So I have characters for each reading strategy. This is Izzy the Inferencer. You can also see him up there. So each reading strategy is tied to a profession and a character, and they relate to what they use them for in their profession outside. So Izzy the Inferencer, he's a detective. So he's always solving mysteries and picking up the clues and drawing inferences. So it helps them build that concrete understanding to then practice it in a text. So we use magnifying glasses. That's his prop that he uses. So on our graphic organizers, we have that to help prompt them on what they should be doing to remind them about what it means to make an inference. So he teaches readers that they need to notice details and draw conclusions using their background knowledge. I think that's the hardest part of inferences for students, is that background knowledge. They don't consciously think about that and bring that to the surface when they're making an inference. So it's our job to help intentionally model that for them while we're doing read alouds and encourage them to do it themselves. And doing these different concrete experiences really helps to build that foundation for them for what it means to make an inference. And the more we practice it in context with books and we relate it to these concrete activities, they're going to make that foundational understanding, and they're really going to have a deep, meaningful connection to what it means to make an inference. So I model this in my shared reading, and then we practice it in centers. And we're applying it over and over again and constantly to make sure that they're truly understanding it. So I'll link to Izzy the Inferencer in the description if you want to know some more about this. And I hope that you can use this emoji inferencing activity with your students. It's really fun. It's even fun to have them come up with their own ideas, and then they can show them to each other or share them with the class, and we can figure it out. Or they can even use real life examples. If they have cell phones and text messages with their parents, please get permission for all of that, of course. So, or you can use an example with your own children. So it's a really fun way to bring in things we're doing outside of school with learning their reading strategies. So if you have any questions about teaching inferences or getting started with this in your classroom, please let me know. But I hope you enjoy using this activity with your students. Thank you for stopping by.